So close, yet so far away.
Fasten tight.
This creature is as blank as a silent monk. Dark magic at work.
The servant grumbles.
This again. Locked in perpetual prayer. Keep trying, my friend.
In life, we are Earth's caretakers. In death, we are the skies.
The eagle glowers at you with one baleful eye, keeping the other eye firmly trained on the stringy morsels of rotting flesh dangling from its beak.
You dare touch Master's gifts. No invitation. Leave now. Leave me and Master alone.
Biting deep into the rotting flesh, your senses are assailed with a rank odor of meat long past its prime. Your memory wavers and becomes not your own, but the memory of one who led the most solitary of lives. You see myriad wings flapping, your hand scattering birdseed. You hear the screeching of eagles, the tearing of flesh. All of your life is centered on this place, this pedestal of death. All of your life is dedicated to feeding your eagles the meat of your dearly departed people.
Crude and cultured both at once. I can't tell whether she's welcoming me or warding me away.
What's this? I found something.
The plinth of the statue bears a series of deep, circular scratches upon its stone. The statue can be rotated. You cringe at the sound of stone grating against stone. The statue rotates with little resistance. The statue rotates with little resistance. The sculpture looks impossibly heavy, yet turns with little effort.
I spotted something.
The headless statue looms over you. Its The creature barely notices your presence.
I've spotted something.
Vilnix Creever. Almost sounds like a lizard name. But here,
These are lizard remains. But in the human section of the graveyard, something's amiss.
You struggle to focus on the so-called healer looking down at you. Nothing but a human quack. The end is near. You can sense it. You croak out a last plea, to be burned in the lizard tradition, but it only comes out as an unintelligible squeak. The human frowns in confusion. Everything goes dark.
You savage! I hope you choke on me!
Let's see what spirits haunt this garden.
At first glance, the spirit seems much like its host. Hollow, detached. Yet, in its eyes, you see something more ominous, something not apparent before. Agony. The spirit nods, and its face grows even more tortured. It is trapped. By what or by whom, you cannot say.
This spirit's as haunted as the graveyard it roams.
What's this? I found something.
You! Help! I'm down here! A mind of this magnitude shouldn't be cursed to live like this. Can you dig me up? Don't worry, there's nothing funny about me. I'll just wait here then.
The skeleton tries to brush the dirt from his clattering bones, then frowns. The moistest bits are still stuck in his cracks and crevices.
Thanks. You're probably looking for a reward, but I haven't got much. Except, you know, the wisdom of the ages.
He pokes a finger against his ossified head.
I'm a bit of a philosopher, you see. Not much else to be, what with all that thinking time. I don't blame you. To brush shoulders with someone of my stature must be overwhelming.
Pure grace in an undeserving world. The spirit of the tree may have much to say.
The roots of a great ancestor tree reach from deep underground to the surface above and beyond. But this tree feels tainted. You are a scion of the elves. The mother tree demands your blood. You do not have a choice. She has a plan, and you must serve her with your death. You heed your mother's wishes and take root. But then you hear a voice, a friendly whisper from beyond. The voice knows you, he understands you, he loves you. He offers you your freedom and asks but one small service in return. Grateful, you accept. In an instant, you are an elf once more, walking in the world. But your new friend begins to make demands. Small services, then larger and more often. They cause you pain. At last, he bids you guard your tree. He expects you shall have guests. You shall kill the Godwoken when they come. Then you shall be free. The thought occurs. The sign replaced one bad deal with another.
No such thing as luck. Only self-earned success. Or as in this case, self-earned failure.
Everyone's in charge of their own fate. Sounds to me like this incent has down the drain.
Desperation leads to stupidity. Among the stupid, anyway.
Cremation pyre. From fire to ash, from ember to flame. Melee took place here, with House of Shadows assassins from the looks of it. I dread a dream undone.
The chest before you is wreathed in flame, but doesn't seem to be actually burning. The flames dance above the ancient pictograms depicting lizards and the ancient empire. You lean in to examine the images further, but are driven back by the intense heat of the flames. The chest before you is wreathed in flame, but doesn't seem to be actually burning. The flames dance above the ancient pictograms depicting lizards and the ancient empire. You lean in to examine the images further, but are driven back by the intense... The chest before you is covered. You hear a deep rumbling from inside the chest, and a voice emerges. It hisses and clicks, but doesn't make any sense. The chest before you is covered in old ancient empire pictograms. You consider trying to find some lockpicks in your bag, but looking at the chest, you don't see any keyhole. You hear a deep rumbling from inside the chest, and a voice emerges. It hisses and clicks, but doesn't make any sense. You hear a quiet hissing chuckle from the chest as you hop about holding your foot. It's tougher than it looks. The chest before you is covered in old... You hear a deep rumbling from inside the chest, and a voice emerges.
This chest recognizes Consul Zara as master. Speak her words or return me to the flames. The words of Consul Zara are not inane babbling. Speak them or be silent.
The chest sits silently for a moment before answering.
Consul Zara would rather see her ashes in the wind than her treasure in the hands of an ape. Please honor her memory.
human graves. Let's hope none are earmarked for me.
The dog growls and bares its teeth at you in a wide, unsettling grin. You swear you see a worm emerge from its grey-pink gums, then burrow back in.
Come closer. I dare you.
He sniffs, he snarls.
I am death. There's no defying me.
The dog's growls intensify and transform into a rhythmic rasp that mimics laughter. You swear you see the ground behind him momentarily churn and tremble.
Do not mock me. You know what lies beneath. But I will not allow you another step closer, human. Can has already laid claim to it. Ha! She calls herself master. I call her minion. Whatever name you choose, it is her hand that will wield it, not yours.
The dog raises its head to the stormy sky and howls. The earth beneath you vibrates, a dirge plucked on the strings of a rotting lute.
Necrotic troll, you are summoned. Crawl through the gate. The earth opens for thee.
10 spans up.
The lizard hums tunelessly, not a melody exactly, but more of a meandering moan.
10 spans under, humans slept. 10 spans up, the dwarves were kept. Lizards burned in lasting flame. Elven trees towards skies did aim. Keeping watch, tending graves.
She flinches as you move closer.
No, no touching.
Her humming fades. The eerie silence lasts for several seconds.
Riker might get mad. He doesn't like it when someone touches his things. It helps me remember where the dead go. Sometimes they don't stay where I put them. That's okay.
She smiles at you with the innocence of a newborn. The hum still throbs in her throat.
No work. I do it 'cause I like it. Don't cause trouble. Just dig and pluck weeds and shoo the ravens.
She shivers and whispers.
He's a powerful sorcerer. Lives here in the garden. Can take the you from you. No brain, just body. My mind isn't big, but it's still mine.
She points at her head.
The servants, they got nothing up there. Riker has it all now. They need to be freed. Only way, kill Riker. The servants, so lost, chained by Sorcerer Riker, but they can still go home to the hall. Set them free.
The ensuing silence lasts for several seconds, until she picks up the melody once again and turns away.
So still here, like the air itself's been petrified. Won't budge.
Nothing but bone dust. Even the petrified aren't immune to the ravages of time, it seems.
this rich, cursed by a coffin and rescued by a tree hugger. The indignity.
She huffs in annoyance and rolls her eyes.
Oh, all this trouble, and for nothing. Never figured I'd need frost armor. You want me to spoil the story before you see how it ends? I'd never be so rude.
She purses her lips and coyly tilts her head.
Oh, but do forgive me. I haven't offered you proper thanks.
She bows in insincere reverence. Her arm rests on her back, hand mere inches from her staff. She goes silent, momentarily willing to let you go free, then rises from her bow and grips you by the shoulder.
Oh, honey, anathema's out there, and I'm not keen on competition if you get my drift.
A jolt of cursed fire flares from her staff.
Especially me.
This part is gated off from the rest. Whoever is buried here must have been important.
Here rests the elven hero Halla. He served Lucian the Divine with great vigor and defended the farmers who feed Reaper's Coast against pitiless bandits. The implements of his heroism shall rest at the site of his victory. Here rests the human hero Garrick. He served Lucian the Divine with immense skill and slew the necromancers who preyed upon the dead of Stone Garden Cemetery. The implements of his heroism shall rest at the site of his victory. Here rests the lizard hero Vidya. She served Lucian the Divine with great dignity and vanquished the strange beasts that arose from the primordial caverns of Reaper's Coast. The implements of her heroism shall rest at the site of her victory. Here rests the dwarven hero Bromley. She served Lucian the Divine with honor and cast out the demons that plagued the great woodlands. The implements of her heroism shall rest at the site of her victory. Suddenly, the earth churns and buckles upwards in several places. Some things are trying to rise to the surface.
Godwoken! You must fall! The God King demands it!
You must fall. so that we may rise.
Let your blood quench our roots so we may grow.
The covenant shall be fulfilled. These graves shall be yours now, God-woken.
Die, God-woken.
Into the dark with you. Glory is mine. Your end will be our beginning.
Cannot stay.
There is no death.
Show yourself.
I'll yield to nothing.